Lori Loughlin spent years being told her career was effectively over. And right now, in 2026, she's proving that verdict wrong on multiple fronts at once while also quietly rebuilding her personal life after one of the most painful chapters of her adult years. Let's go through the whole story. What actually happened with the scandal that ended her career overnight? How she clawed her way back? What her comeback actually looks like right now? And what's genuinely going on with her marriage? Because I want to give you the real, current picture rather than the tabloid shorthand version. First, the scandal, because it's the hinge everything else swings on. In 2019, Lori Loughlin and her husband, fashion designer Massimo Giannulli, pleaded guilty to conspiracy charges tied to paying $500,000 to get their daughters into USC through the Varsity Blues admissions scandal. Loughlin served 2 months in prison, Giannulli served 5. And I want to be honest about how total the fallout was. This wasn't a scandal she weathered while working. She was let go from Hallmark's When Calls the Heart while it was happening, and coming out of prison in late 2020, she genuinely struggled to find work in an industry that had built her entire public image around being the wholesome, good girl next door type. Her actual first job back was reprising Abigail Stanton on the WCTH spinoff When Hope Calls. In 2021, a real second chance, but a much smaller stage than the one she'd lost. Now, 6 years later, the comeback is real, and it's happening on multiple fronts simultaneously. She's confirmed to return to When Calls the Heart itself for season 14, stepping back into the exact role and exact show that let her go during the scandal, which I think makes this specific return land differently than any other job she could have taken. She's also got a new garage sale mysteries movie confirmed, and there are rumors unconfirmed but persistent that she could be joining the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which would be a genuinely new kind of visibility for her compared to anything she's done before. Now, the marriage, because I want to walk through this accurately, rather than repeat the version that makes it sound like her husband is some kind of active obstacle to her comeback, because that's not really what the more reliable reporting shows. Lori and Massimo separated in October 2025, after nearly 28 years of marriage, confirmed directly by her rep to People. After deep thought and a lot of prayer, I've made the decision to move forward with a divorce. No divorce has actually been filed as of the most recent reporting they're living apart, and by multiple accounts still working through things privately rather than in court. And the reasons reported for the split are genuinely tangled up with everything they went through together. Multiple sources have told People and Us Weekly that the scandal itself never stopped being the wound underneath the marriage. One insider put it plainly, the school scandal was a turning point, and they never really connected or recovered their relationship after that. Another source told People in January that Lori was still extremely angry with him. And I think that's a genuinely human, complicated place to be. You can go through something devastating with someone, survive it together, and still find out afterward that the surviving cost you the relationship itself. John Stamos, her longtime Full House co-star, spoke up in her defense on the Good Guys podcast, saying, "She put up with a lot over the years of this guy. For a girl who has lived her life really well, a good person, a good mother, a good wife, I know all this for a fact to be thrown into. Now this separation and, exploding, blowing up her family this way. I just hate to see her go through this. I really do." That's real support from someone who's known her for decades, and I think it tells you how much people close to her felt this loss on her behalf. But here's the update that actually matters most right now, as of this spring. Us Weekly reported in April 2026 that Lori is dating, again described by an insider as keeping things light and casual, nothing serious, and that she's got her spark back. Since the split, one source told them, the dust has settled, and she's really leaning into this season of life, enjoying her independence, spending a lot of time with her girls and having fun. Meanwhile, Massimo has been seen with a younger stylist named Hannah Harrison, though both have denied there's anything romantic there. So here's where things actually stand. A woman who lost her career overnight, served real prison time, spent years rebuilding from the smallest possible foothold, and is now stepping back into the exact show that once let her go, while simultaneously working through the end of a nearly 3-decade marriage that never fully recovered from the same scandal that cost her everything. professionally. Two comebacks happening at once, in completely different directions of her life. And I honestly think both of them deserve to be talked about with more nuance than villain ex-husband threatens her rise. When Calls the Heart Season 14 begins filming later this year, with Loughlin returning as Abigail Stanton. Drop a comment and tell me, are you excited to see Lori Loughlin back on When Calls the Heart? And do you think she and Massimo will ever find their way to a real friendship on the other side of all this? Because after everything both of them went through together, I honestly think either outcome would make sense.